We're taking a trip out to Pierre, South Dakota, which is the capital of South Dakota. It is actually the second smallest capital in the US, actually. Population right around 13,000. And on the way out here, of course, I had to make a side trip because I always pass and I come on to Chamberlain. And of course, off on this rest area, you see the Statue of Dignity, which is amazing, right? It's like sits up on this hilltop looking over the Missouri River, and it's absolutely beautiful. If you're coming out here and you're along I-90, this is a fantastic place to stop to rest. And of course, you can see dignity of earth and sky. And of course, you get to see the landscape of South Dakota. Now there's two parts of Pierre that I'm going to show you. One is Pierre, the capital, right, which is across the river. And then you have Old Pierre, which is really the footage that I really want to show you, because that is Midwest small town at its best out here in South Dakota. And there's a lot of history. So I'll show you that tomorrow. But for now, as we look around the Missouri River right behind me here in Chamberlain, South Dakota, day one, let's head to Pierre. Made it to Fort Pierre. Here we are. Actually, day one here. I have a bad habit of calling this Old Pierre. It's because I kind of think about Pierre being the capital and across the way, just that this was the original site, right? So this is Fort Pierre, and this is where Lewis and Clark would have really had their expedition, and they would have landed here. And kind of like how I did the Southern Indiana trip, and I said Abraham Lincoln had his mark on everything. That's kind of how it is with Lewis and Clark in this area, that they have their handprint on everything around the area. But I'm just kind of walking beside the river here just to kind of give you an idea. The bridge behind me, Pierre across the way, and of course, we're in Fort Pierre. And this is pretty incredible, really, if you really think about it, because one of the main reasons that I really got interested in the history of Fort Pierre is because of the Deadwood Trail. And the Deadwood Trail, what is that? So it's about a 300-mile trek approximately from Fort Pierre up to Deadwood. What they would do is they would come up by steamboat from around the Yankton, South Dakota area. They would come up, they would drop off all their goods, everything that they're going to send up to Deadwood, and they'd go by wagon, and it would take about a 30-day round trip. So all the way up to Deadwood and back 30 days. But by the time they got to Fort Pierre, by wagon, it'd take about 15 days from what I researched just to make it up to Deadwood. And that's important if you really think about the history of it all, because what was happening in Deadwood? Well, they discovered gold. They had the Black Hill Gold Rush. And so Deadwood, everyone was making their way up there. And this seemed to be the best vantage point to go ahead and get those goods by river, drop them off here by steamboat before they took them up. Now, the history, and of course they call it historic Fort Pierre for a reason. The history is astounding in this area. And this is Midwest small town at its best, approximately population of 2,200 about. And so we're gonna check out some different things here in this area, including the information center, where I got some great details, not only about the Deadwood Trail, but about some other things going on downtown. So let's go check out downtown Fort Pierre. Well, downtown Fort Pierre doesn't disappoint, that's for sure. Look at this mural behind me, isn't that cool? Established in 1817, it kind of shows you just how old Fort Pierre is and the history behind it. This mural kind of goes into it with the steamboats and so forth. But there's something really cool that Sunny shared with me. And who's Sunny? So she is down at the tourism office here in town. Had a great conversation with her. And she goes, make sure you go downtown. And there's something I want you to see, Dan. We have a bunch of ghost murals. And I said, what are you talking about? What's a ghost mural? She goes, well, you know, over time, those murals kind of fade. And they kind of fade to the point like they're like almost like a ghost. And so they have a couple of these ghost murals on the walls. I'll show you a few of them. And a couple of them they're kind of redoing. And I'll show you that one as well. But one, the corner of the saddle shop here, it's right behind me. And you can kind of see that. It shows up a little bit better on video. But you can see that it's kind of faded a little bit. And that would be what they would consider a ghost mural. But the one that they redid here is right on the outside wall of the building called the Chateau Lounge. And it's that Pepsi sign. And I think in one of my past videos I showed in Nebraska City, they have one of those old Coca-Cola murals. It's always fascinating to me that when you see these old murals showing the old soda pops back in the day, right? So here it is behind me here. And they've redone it so it kind of shows up a little bit. But this was originally one of the ghost murals, light, you could barely kind of see it. And now they're kind of working it, it's a little darker so you can see. But I thought that was pretty fascinating. And downtown Fort Pierre is not only historical, it is pretty cool. I mean, they have all sorts of the old architecture, the old buildings. Across the street here on Deadwood, which is their main street basically, is the old stock growers bank of Fort Pierre. And I love the architecture of that, and I love the history of that as well. Put Fort Pierre down on your bucket list. This is definitely a beautiful town. It's full of history along the river. You can walk the river. And of course, we've got the capital of South Dakota, Pierre, South Dakota, right across the river. And we'll go check that out. Wow, the Capitol grounds here in Pierre, South Dakota are stunning. Just beautiful. I love how they have this little pond that you can walk around. And of course, the Capitol building that's behind me. I'm not going to show a lot of Pierre today. I just really wanted to show the Capitol. The second smallest capital in the United States, which I know I've already kind of alluded to. But if you really think about it, I mean, Pierre, I said 13,000, closer to 14,000. And boy, the town that I live in, which kind of I call it a little big town, it's about 11,000. So just a few thousand more is the capital of Pierre. And I tell you what, walking around these grounds, you see the different statues, you see the different memorials, and it just makes you reflect and just to really appreciate not only the grounds, but the hardworking people in South Dakota. I thought that this statue of these two horses just really intrigued me. You can kind of see behind me here. Not sure what it is, memorial, I'm sure. They have different people who've worked in the state that are kind of commemorated as a memorial along this stone. So I'm guessing it's a memorial for them. Well, we end up having a beautiful day today to do this video. No, my hair's kind of crazy. I really need to kind of do what my friend Brenton does. He always wears a hat. I'm like, I should start wearing a hat. That way it's not so ridiculous, right? Who's Brenton? Brenton, I'm giving you a shout out. I'll put it in the description below, but you really should consider following his channel if you haven't already. He is backwaters and backroads, or is it backroads and backwaters? Either way, I'll put it in the description below. And he's great. Him and his amazing beagle wavy. You should follow their adventures. They are shanty boaters, and so they go down these rivers and all these different backwaters, and it's awesome. And I know that he wants to go on an adventure with me on a back road, and I told him, I said, hey, I'm out here at Fort Pierre, you should come with me. He goes, I am planning to come with you. So I think we're gonna have a upcoming video that we'll do together. Anyway, I'm gonna head to the cemetery over at Fort Pierre right now. And the story is that the Deadwood Trail kind of went along that path. And I guess there's still ruts in the ground. Hopefully we can find them, but we'll try. So anyway, that's up next. When we made it to Cedar Hill Cemetery, it's just a cemetery just outside of Fort Pierre, and it, of course, sits on a hill. And this is a beautiful setting. A lot of old gravestones, but we are here in search of the old rut marks that kind of followed along the trail, or the Deadwood Trail, I should say. And wagons back in the day, of course, would leave these rut marks. And that's what I'm hoping to find. I'll keep looking. I don't know if we're going to find it or not. But they probably would have went along the base of these hills, not necessarily over them. And I'm on top of it right now. I'll keep looking around and see what I can find. Sorry, I wasn't leading you on a wild goose chase. However, I don't think I found them. Maybe I kind of followed this little path. I kind of went around the cemetery and around, and I was kind of worried at first, like, should I be doing this? Am I gonna get stuck? And then I thought I saw some things that could have been maybe ruts, but I don't think so. But I talked to two locals and they said, yeah, they're out there. Unfortunately, I couldn't find them today. It is still a beautiful setting here at the cemetery here at Cedar Hill, and of course, beautiful setting at Fort Pierre, the capital at Pierre. Definitely something that you're gonna wanna put on your bucket list. You should check it out. Fort Pierre, South Dakota. This is Midwest Small Town.